What does self-care have to do with your career? Chapter 1. Taking care of yourself is a radical act. A few years ago, I interviewed Bava Ram, who used to be named Brad Willis. Willis was once a war correspondent for NBC News. It was his dream career, and he'd climbed to the top of his chosen profession with a simple mantra: I'm going to work harder and longer than anyone else. That mantra sounded very familiar to me, and I bet it does to you too. Do you start every day with a mental to-do list that no human being could actually finish? Do you confront every obstacle by trying harder and studying more? Do you spend your working life and your home life too with your eye on the next goal and then the next and the next? If the answer to all of that is yes, then welcome. You and I are both part of a very large and very overworked club. Maybe you work for a boss or a company that expects unreasonable amounts of work from you, and maybe everyone in your organization uses that same bad mantra. Maybe you work for yourself in a profession where nearly everyone is striving to work harder and longer than everyone else. Maybe you have very big dreams about what you want to accomplish, and you worry about falling behind on your goals. Or maybe other people depend on you and the things you do, both at work and at home, and you live in fear of what might happen if you fail them. All of that describes me. I've spent my entire adult life as a writer, which is to say that I work in an incredibly competitive profession where, among other things, there are legions of people who would happily do my job for free. For years, I struggled along, making a living, sort of. Looking back, I was chipping away at an iceberg, establishing myself and building skills little by little. Finally, after a ridiculously long time, I gained the confidence I needed to take the next step, and then the next. I wish I could tell you that it all magically came together and that I was swept away to unimagined success like all those authors on the bestseller racks. Instead, it was an excruciatingly slow process. After many years of volunteering for the American Society of Journalists and Authors, ASJA, I got invited to run for the board, and after many more years on the board doing all sorts of jobs, I eventually became president. After years of writing for Inc.com, I wound up in the right place at the right time to have an online column of my own, and over time I built up a readership of more than 1 million page views a month. At some point, I finally started making a decent living, and around that time I also realized that if I could clone myself into 2 writers, there was enough demand for my work to keep both of us busy. I wish I could tell you that on the day I had that realization, I did something to celebrate it, such as plan a vacation or at least take my husband out for a nice dinner. Instead, I did what you probably do too. I worried about how to keep it all going. I took on almost every job I was offered. I fretted about how to increase my income since, even though my income had doubled over just a few years, it never seemed to be more than almost enough. And relentlessly, I compared myself to other people. One friend of mine completed a novel in 6 months. Why hadn't I done the same? Another built her expertise into a lucrative speaking business. Why hadn't I done that too? Everything I did, someone else had done more of or had done it better. Anything that I achieved seemed easy and unimportant the moment I achieved it. I just had to work harder and longer.